Oh, I guess this just went straight to live. All right, cool. I don't want any of this right now. Let's get let's get going and switch over to here and let's start drawing. I'm thinking about what we're gonna do today. I want to program a little bit, but it usually helps to warm up and think about what we're gonna do today. Um, and recently I've been thinking a whole lot about tables and forms and schema and stuff like that. And a lot of these drawings, the goals are sort of to figure out what this means in programs, right? Um, but yeah, a lot of repetition and a lot of different layouts. But why don't we do an entirely new drawing today? Um, I've really been obsessed with uh, accessibility, and I don't know if it's ever gonna really work in science per se. This pen's a little raunchy today, but I don't know. I don't really know what accessibility means anymore. This week, I found myself in a meeting arguing for compliance, which is not something I actually believe in. Especially when we're doing some of this like data visualization work, we're sort of at the Bill T at the vanguard of like programming, right? And we've got these old WCAG rules that are like based on old things and they don't apply to the modern situation. But at the same time, too, it's like we do need some accessible baseline, but it doesn't really cut it in these advanced applications that we're doing. This pen's getting thrown out. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I've like kind of become radicalized to this accessibility concept, and I sort of stopped believing in it. I I found, as I learned about accessibility, and we've got these like poor principles here. It turns out for the applications of like looking through data and trying to explore a system and trying to make science come from it, these poor principles don't really work. They're great for like maybe they're useful for credit cards and banking and stuff like that. But when you're trying to explore data and explore information, they're very insufficient. So I kind of believe that like any target, at least in like computer science education towards accessibility that is based on poor principles, I don't know, it's inequitable. Um, I kind of really have delved into the extended poor principles through the chartability. These are CAF, CAF, and what they mean is that on top of it being, sort of perceivable and operable and understandable, it's also compromising, assistive, and flexible. When we start thinking about that, yes, this starts to feel like interactive computing to me. But it starts to uh, really change some of the ways that we're designing and the design spaces that we already have, and we have to expand on them. So let's just kind of make sure that we know what these are. And I'll pull up the poor principles. So these poor principles are about the accessibility of visualization systems. Um, and I found a loophole in it. And one of them is that it's a critical failure of data visualization to not have some data available in a table form on top of your alt text and all that stuff too. But these, when you go and take a look at the chartability guidelines, you start to realize these are sort of like the poor principles are sort of like the primary colors of accessibility, and these CAF principles are sort of like the secondary colors, where they talk about connecting perceivable and operable and understandable and robust. So these looking at these CAF principles sort of helps me understand the pour principles actually. So I don't know. Even still, it doesn't seem like it's hitting in the way that I want it to hit. Because like what's cool about the chartability principles is they have a lot of tactile awareness in them, right? So it's like this is how a table or a visualization should feel and should navigate. And those are very great recommendations. But there's more to it. Um, like now that we have, so what we're talking about when we're thinking about the navigability of things, is we're really saying that there's a, on top of our visual component here. So we're drawing a single axis that says visual, and then we're saying there's also this tactile component, right? So like if I've got a material in my hand and I'm holding it, I expect it to sound like something. And I think one of the things that I'm really interested in exploring is the relationship between all three of these layers of sight, touch, and sound. And that's where I'm probably going to get to in what I'm working on today. What we'll probably work on today is I really want to explore the highcharts library for sonification. But part of the motivation is that we want to include more data in the page. We want more data justice for screen reader users and scientists, right? Like one of the things that we kind of what sort of happened with these new digital information systems is we've offloaded our senses, right? And like there's a really early time post-industrial revolution, World War I, where there was a question of like offloading what's the importance of what we observe as humans versus like what we actually measure as we started getting more measurement systems, right? So we offloaded all of our feelings. We tried to be objective, but the reality is that accessibility hurts people and it feels like something when it's not done right. But we can do just the opposite. We can do it in a way that scientists recognize that their senses are dulled. They're so acutely aware of the visual that they forgot what stuff feels like. I think Feynman said something about how do you teach somebody physics who hasn't been on a merry-go-round before, right? But we've offloaded our senses and we forgot what this stuff feels like. But now we've got all these abilities to bring it back together, right? So when something looks like something, when it feels like something, and when it sounds like something, we start to actually consider that this data has a material quality to it. So yeah, we'll explore a little bit of sound. We'll actually take a maybe what we'll do is we'll look at some demos that the Space Telescope Science Institute's put out. They're really beautiful and calming. We can listen to those streams together and take some deep breaths and think about the universe a little bit and what it would sound like out there, right? Like so, this notebooks for all work that we do, these computational notebooks. Our funding originally came from big telescope projects, right? And one of the reasons is that those projects have 50 and 100-year missions, right? So when you have a 50 and 100-year mission, your graduate student who begins working on these big projects at 20 is in a completely different body at the end of their career, right? So from that perspective, access is a really long-term concept for sustainability, but in like rapid tech stuff, we really don't have that. Um, and yeah, notebooks in space. It's really interesting to think about that. It's really interesting to think about how some projects some software is actually in space on Mars right now. Some people have badges. A few friends of mine in like NumPy, their name's literally on Mars on a piece of software, and like that's the coolest graffiti there is. But yeah, so we're gonna go and we're gonna look. We'll get back to this. We're gonna work in a notebook, of course, and just sort of rambling here, collecting my thoughts. But we're gonna really focus on these CAF principles today. And one of the things is I don't know how compromising visualizations actually are. I don't know how compromising alt text actually is. I think there are different ways to think about this. I don't know. I feel like folks who are in the D3 space are super familiar with this annoying, tedious problem of mapping a domain to a range. So in D3, you have data, and the data is in its data space, right? And then you have to go and convert that to pixels or images or pixels or percentages or typeset units or something like that. But there's this effort, there's an artistic effort that goes into translating the domain to the range. And it's very costly, especially if the people who are doing that work aren't trained in representing information this way. So when we're going from the domain to the range, we're saying, what's the color of this data? Or how's this data supposed to feel? Right? And now you have people who believe that their measuring systems are more accurate than their feelings, designing things that are very feelings based. So the visualization enterprise is suspect to me. But I think that if we consider this suspicion and we say, hey, maybe a lot of people actually have a data literacy problem. So overall, this is literacy. Reading and writing about data is difficult. It takes practice. You get PhDs to do that oftentimes, but now that PhD level research is out there in the public, and I think that there are a lot of people who struggle with their own data literacy. They actually have an ableism in their data literacies that cause problems for folks. So now, if we consider that there's a data literacy problem, um, then now what do? We design technology solutions. We design cultural communities to address this problem. And one of the things is potentially thinking more about how the data looks and sounds and feels. So this domain and range thing, once we put a visualization out there, it's very hard for me to recover how this thing is supposed to feel, how this thing's supposed to sound, right? And the alt text doesn't do a great job of that. But the table structure, this domain here, if I have this, I can do some cool stuff. I actually have a demo on my phone that's probably worth showing real fast here. Whoops. Uh, okay, cool. Voiceover on. Firefox. Secure connection. All right. So this is a post I did a little bit ago. And we address bar. Tonifus GitHub.io/Tonifus reader view. Reload. Skip to set page 2 of 5 settings. But voiceover okay, on. Let's turn it off first. So when we first see this, here I have some images. I don't know if there's alt text on them per se, but these are visualizations of a sine wave. The cosine, the sine, and some index or whatever. But it's really pretty. And I actually keep these um, Lockheed. No, what are these? Lockheed Martin? Yeah, Lockheed Martin, Lockheed Georgia. Uh, I don't know. Lessons. I got a grip of these at a flea market. But I think about how pretty and nice these like black on white visualizations are, and when I look at this, I kind of get that same nice reminder. But anyway, that nostalgia is good. It's like reminiscent of a print. But what's kind of cool is like this one here is not a picture anymore. This is actually voiceover on. Oh. Firefox landscape page 3 of page 4 of 7 page index 165 row header row 166 column 1. So this is actually a table now. And when so yeah, you can see the rows are kind of the sine wave here. But what's interesting is since this thing's a table, this is very different on desktop too, but on mobile, look, I'm not saying this is practical. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it feels amazing. It's sort of, I've never really thought about visualizations as having this like continuous tactile feeling to them. But maybe there's more to expand on this space. Maybe the sensitivity of like the built-in screen reader isn't the best, but there's something to now portrait voiceover off. Now allowing screen reader users to have their own views of or being able to access the table itself. Maybe there's another table that has a summary or something, but these tables, according to the chartability principles, um, I think the table thing is a compromising situation, right? A lot of the data science students non-visual data science students seem to want the data so they have their own control. So if the table's in there, we already have a way for them to get to it. We can export it in different ways. But in some way or another, the table really works as a both compromising and flexible sort of thing. And it's an old concept, so the shape of it is reliable. And yeah, why don't we see what this starts to look a little bit like in some code? Or actually, let's hop on hop on the screen, and we'll listen to some sonifications, and then we'll go and make our own. So we're gonna go and we're gonna listen to data. And now maybe this isn't like apparent to us at first. Maybe the patterns aren't there at first, but it takes time to tune your senses to these things. So we'll listen to some data, and then we're going to look at highcharts sonifications. And then, man, I really just like listening to sonifications, especially the ones that are done well. So I keep lamenting this conversation that I had. Not lament, I don't know, just thinking back to this like conversation about like why don't we have to do like special things for deaf folks? And I just realized I don't have a transcript or captioning here. Hopefully YouTube helps me with that later. Um, but why don't we have to do special things for deaf people? And it's because we don't explore the sound dimension. But if we did, then now we have good new problems. We can start to think more immersively about our sound and design for practical situations for deaf folks, which might ultimately be good for everyone. And then so the last thing we'll do is we'll hack our own stuff together, and then we'll get like a little blog out, and it'll be a fun old time. So I'm gonna transfer. Oh, actually, let me cue a thing up first here. Sonifications. Um, actually, get keyboard over here. Cool. Sonifications. STSCI. The Space Telescope Science Institute. So the James Webb Space Telescope has been putting out these visualizations, and I have a personal favorite that we'll listen to. Let's see, it looks like it's can't search for it right away. Okay. Okay. We will do one of these ones. Okay. Ring Nebula. So this is not actually the page I was looking for, was it? Hearing sonifications. Maybe this is it. These are Hubble sonifications. Yes, I found them. These are beautiful. Okay, great. So let me just switch over to my things. Let's switch, transition. Boom. All right, let me get rid of this nonsense here, and then we can go and party. Um, yeah, it feels good to do the drawing thing. I've always kind of wanted to start that way. And then, I don't know, for a really long time, I've been trying to figure out how to make programming feel like drawing. And I don't know, all of these things are little guesses and experiments about what might actually work. But let's listen to something. Let's go to, this is not great system. Okay, Western. This one, really like this one. Let's listen to this. Look, we should have just started with that. Man, that's just like the sound bath I needed. Um, these are beautiful. So let's get a notebook going with some links over here so that we can start keeping track of what we're doing today. Um, so yeah, great. So these are the NASA Hubble sonifications. Great. Cool. So that's where we started. Maybe we could even consider doing one more. Um, and yeah, it's great. I will love looking over at the stats of this thing and nobody's watching. It's fine. It's fine. It's very fun. This is really calming to me, and it's good to finally get to it. Let's listen to one more. What do you think? The Butterfly Nebula? I don't really have anybody to ask, but what's Hoag's object? This looks neat. Let's see what this one is. Awesome. Hey, maybe it's not practical, but maybe like we start to hear enough of these things and we're like, oh, I remember that jam. Oh, that one sounded good, or oh, I can hear the periodicity in these things. Since I'm just vibing with this. I'm gonna do one more. I want to talk about two things this reminded me of, just because. That one was magical. Did you see how it was like mapped across the like a radial surface as it was going in? Oh, that was pretty epic. Um, Very cool. Yeah, the stuff reminds me of some cool things. There's a Vimeo of the Apollo 11 landing, and this is a visualization. It's very, very sick. Yeah, I I don't know how to pronounce Yanni's name, but he does some badass stuff. I've always been inspired by his work. His this one's super duper neat. Uh, it's kind of 6 minutes long, but whatever. Uh, let's let it play, and then I'm just going to type a little bit, and then we'll get back to watching it. But what's interesting here is that the time is mapped to a position away from the moon. So it's exciting to overlay these like so many audio channels here. This really is a sonification. So yeah, we should just listen to it, and I should shut up. Uh-oh. Can't hear anything. Hmm. Wonder why. It won't let me hear it. Bummer. Well, I'll leave a link for this and you all should watch. But yeah, this is dialogue between and Mission Control and the space shuttle as it's nearing the moon surface, and they're doing all these checks in here. This is a bummer. It's not playing. What a shame. Very cool. Anyway, if y'all get a chance, that's great. And yeah, it does make sense that a data visualization has a director. It's a really a multimedia thing. Like you're in this thing. It's an experience. It's a space that you can touch and feel. So you know, in the same way that people design art exhibits and curate those worlds, data is a world, and what we're really trying to do is. Uh, Maybe even inaccessibility wise, especially when we're talking about the whoa. There's some sound. Great.
Is he accepting it, guidance?
L8 is minus 2,900. Roger, we copy. That's the Earth, right out our front window. Houston, you're looking at our Delta 8. That's affirmative. Program alarm.
1969. We haven't done this again. That's crazy.
1202.
6 plus 25.
We're going that flight.
We're going that alarm?
If it doesn't reoccur, we'll be go. He's taking in the Delta H now.
Roger. Did you get the throttle down, Capcom? Roger.
Give us a reading on the 1202 program alarm.
Flight Fido converging on Delta H.
Roger.
Roger, we got you. We're going that alarm.
Roger.
Roger. 330. 6 plus 25, throttle down. 6 plus 25, throttle down.
Okay, we'll monitor his Delta H.
Roger, copy. 6 plus
And
25.
that's what's getting it.
Okay.
And his alarms.
Roger.
Delta H is
Same
beautiful.
alarm, and it appears to come up when we have a 1668 up.
Okay. Roger.
Forward. Roger. Good talk. Let's go.
Roger. Good call out.
Altitude, velocity, light.
8 a.m. Good.
8.5 down. 220 feet.
Map below level.
15 forward.
15 forward.
11 forward.
11 forward, coming down nicely, 200 feet. 4.5 down. 5.5 down.
160.
160 feet. 6.5 down. 5.5 down. 9 forward.
Low level.
Good. 120 feet. 100 feet. 3.5 down. 9 forward. 5%.
It's so beautiful how we get different visualizations as the time goes. We can see
75 feet. Car's looking good. Down a half.
we can see this visualization blending into another visualization. It's gorgeous.
60 seconds. Lights on.
Lights on.
Down 2.5.
Down 2.5.
Got that black background too, like the Lockheed pamphlets. It feels great.
40 feet down 2.5.
40 feet.
Picking up some dust.
Picking up some dust.
30 feet, 2.5 down.
30 feet.
Moon dust.
4 forward. 4 forward, drift into the right a little.
4 forward. Drift into the
1.5.
30 seconds.
30 seconds forward.
30 seconds.
30 seconds forward. Contact light.
Contact light.
Okay, engine stop. ACA at a descent.
Okay, engine stop.
Cruise control both auto, descent engine command override off.
Shut down. Control both.
Engine arm off.
Engine command override off.
413 is in.
Engine arm off. 413 is in.
We copy you down, Eagle.
We've had
Houston,
we copy you down, Eagle.
Apps and RCS.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. You're looking good here.
Thank you.
Okay, keep your eye on it.
Okay, we're going to be for a minute.
Steady as a rock.
After Armand, take care of the
Okay,
team.
we're going to be for a minute.
I'll get the pressure there.
After Armand, take care of the team. I'll get the
I don't know. To me, that shit is exciting. Like, you got an exciting data visualization. Like, what are we trying to do these days? Like, this had a director. Let's make this shit exciting, right? But always, uh, you know, the first of all of this is, of course, powers of 10. Um, and they're the first, one of the first data immersions that we ever really got. Let's listen to this one super fast. It's kind of like we want to be screen reader user. Let's go 2. There you go.
We begin with a scene 1 meter wide, which we view from just 1 meter away. Now, every 10 seconds, we will look from 10 times farther away, and our field of view will be 10 times wider. This square is 10 meters wide, and in 10 seconds, the next square will be 10 times as wide. Our picture will center on the picnickers, even after they've been lost to sight. 100 meters wide. The distance a man can run in 10 seconds. Cars crowd the highway. Powerboats lie at their docks. The colorful bleachers are soldiers' field.
The data needs more production. It really does. I'm gonna put all these things in here, and if folks are interested afterwards, they can find the powers of 10. Um, yeah. So Yanni, one of the artists working on the Apollo video, I think Yanni, right? Yeah, he was the visualization designer. This is amazing. So he did another visualization. Uh, let's see if we can find it. Not that Yanni. A place for big data close, and yes, this might be actually be it. Or at least a link to it. Yeah, the life and death of data. Right, I forgot. I did like a visual. I did a piece of art for this. This is another visualization, interactive visualization, and it's before a lot of us knew this stuff was cool. But anyway, I'm just gonna like leave this stuff here for y'all to look at. But when you life and death of data, um, but yeah, when you look at this, you realize it's like 50 megabytes and it's huge, and you should never, and you don't feel bad about clogging up the pipes these days. But yeah, this is just a fabulous look at some of this stuff, including like conversations with people, overlaid with data. It's very immersive and intentful. It's not just because we could, it's because there's a story in it, and that's what we're trying to produce. This is great. This is a nice warm up. This always reminds me of doing stuff like this, reminds me of watching skate videos before I wanted to go out and skate and just get hyped up a little bit. But let's see here. So this is highcharts, and I have there's a few audio charts here, and it's it's good that we're calmed down from the space illustrations, because like the thing that's different about this is like there are clearly people who knew about art designing this stuff, and now what we're curious about is like, what does this thing randomly sound like? It's a lot less constrained, but maybe there's an opportunity for new teachings and learnings and just interactions with data this way. Let's take a look at this one and see what's going on.
Math 101.
Ooh.
PR 102. Chem 103. Phys 104. Physics 105. Econ 106. Comp 107. Endo 108. His 109. Stat 110.
This makes me not want to sonify anything, because that didn't sound good. Like, I didn't like that. There's a couple things, right? So they use there's a synthetic voice thing that you can use. Synthetic synthetic speech API, something. synthetic speech synthesis. Yeah, there's this. They were using clearly the speech synthesis API here, and then they were using an audio synthesizer. But you know, like this could have probably been would have been better just as a table, right? So like that's kind of the thing I'm thinking. Like if this was a table, would it be easier for a screen reader user to just use their table experience and navigate this? Where these whisker plots have a mean, core standard deviations and quartiles or whatever in there. Those are just columns, right? So if that information was thoughtfully organized, this is just another visualization that could have been a table, and probably might even be more useful to sighted users. But see, I guess here, so you can hover over stuff and see things. What happens? Let's see.
Screen reader on. Figure. Play chart push. Main content. Audio box. Heading level 1. All demos. Link. Previous demo. Figure. Play chart push button. Play chart. Space. Map 101. PR 102.
The
Cam
hover is
103.
good, but
104.
okay, what do we do on contrast there?
FM 106. Comp 107. Enter 108. Kiss 109. Step 110.
No, those sounds don't mix well. But the sound thing makes sense, right? Like we could have a whole column in a table that just plays sound down, and this is what the thing sounds like. We could have this, but it doesn't need to be as produced this way. I'd be very curious what designers with a keener ear might consider on some of this stuff. Let's take a simple example.
Link. Figure. Play chart push button. Helsinki average monthly temperature. Play chart. Helsinki average monthly temperature. Space. Summer.
Oh, I love it. It's so fabulous. It's so fabulous. But like, okay, so
Play chart. Helsinki average play chart. Helsinki play chart. Health play chart. Health line chart with 12 data points. Line chart with 12 data points. Play chart. Line chart with 12 data points. Here we are using context tracks left parent tracks region Helsinki average monthly temperature. Highcharts interactive chart. Line chart with 12 data point tab. Interactive chart image. Jan tab. Text on left Z. Jan leaving region tab. Region. Helsinki average monthly temperature. High play chart. Play chart. Tab. Interactive chart. Tab. Region. Interactive chart. Tab. Jan. -5 space. Return. Tab. End of left figure. Play chart. Play chart. Interact region. Helsinki average monthly temperature. Highcharts interactive chart. The chart has Y. No more list I. No more list items I. No more list items.
see, I can't find out what the values are. So cool, we've got sound, but like it's just a substitute for this. That's not right, and it's not. No, nope. Sorry, I'm grumpy about all this stuff. Uh, should have been a table. Lines are hard to do, but again, or it needs a table complementing it. I know that's not. I know the point of these things is to demo the visualizations, but at the same time too, if accessibility is going to work, it's got to be in the developer experience too, because we do have disabled
Play
developers.
Chart. The chart has one x-axis display tab. Interactive chart.
Let's
Image.
do one
Jan,
more.
-5 degrees C.
Let's see what
Helsinki.
happens
Image.
with multiple
Jan,
plots.
sonification navigation. Visited link. Audio chart. Embedded. Focus mode. Space. Japan. Sweden. USA. Region. Chart. Highcharts interactive chart. Interactive chart. Image. Region. Japan, line 1 of 3 with 252 data points. 5.2%, Jan 1, 2002 Japan, image. 5.3%, Feb 1, 2002 Japan, image. 5.3%, Mar 1, 2002 Japan, image. 5.3%, April 1, 2002 Japan, image. 5. Region, chart, highcharts interactive chart, region, chart, highcharts region, chart, highcharts interactive chart, image, region, Japan, line 1 of 3 with region, chart, highcharts interactive chart, image, region, Japan, line 1 region, chart, region, chart, region, chart, highcharts interactive chart, image, region, Japan,
What
line 1 of 3 with
what the
252
fuck's
data
happening?
points. 5.2%, Jan screen reader off.
All right, let's see what you're doing. That was bananas. Uh, let's go and see the it's easiest. So that was an accessibility property thing here. Okay, so we're deep in here. We're deep in this interactive charts thing. Okay, so we're in this. We just kept hearing region. That's a more generic um graphics document. Looks like okay. Chart credits. Okay, thanks guys. Appreciate your open sourceness. What you got here? Come on. End of interactive chart. What the fuck were we listening to? Application audio chart. What's a role application? I've never seen. I don't. Are you supposed to put role application in anything? What's that do? Region. Generic. Okay. What are you? I don't get this. I don't know what I just heard. Nothing makes sense anymore. Okay. Okay, this looks better. All right, so these were regions. Okay, so what? This is a region image. Okay, some. What? Okay. All right. So then I guess this is every data point. So be careful what you ask for, kind of deal. Again, this probably could be. Guess what, folks? A table. Um. Anyway. Yeah. So that could be better, right? And this is where all the chartability stuff comes into play. You'll it's difficult, right? Because you actually have to train somebody on both perceivable, understandable, and operable stuff. Let's make sure that there's a link to chartability here. And we should also put a link to all that high chart stuff, don't we? Chartability. Um, and then high charts sonification. Man, I was just thinking if I kept the timestamp, it would make life easier on the post-editing process. But anyway, I could probably do that with if I did like an execution thing. Anyway, let's see. That's cool. All right. So that was something else. Um, I'm afraid of that one. This one looks simple. Let's do it. All right. Cool. Cool. So here's the thing I need to know. High charts. Visualization from a table, from directly from a table. Let's see. Visualize data from HTML tables. So this is an HTML source code. Okay. So then okay. So this is a high charts blog. Let's make sure we've got this one over here. And then so it looks like you just have to put an ID on it and it makes the data source, which is pretty bitchin'. And what's nice is they use a bunch of code pens here. So there's some more configuration, which is the start column and stuff. So yeah, let's go and find an example. Let's check this guy out. Let's go over CodePen. It's great that I like CodePens and all this stuff. But I still do use notebooks here. All right, so they have some container, there's some chart, it's got some height, landmark verbosity. Huh. Oh yeah, we didn't listen to this as a screen reader. I really want to listen to a screen reader. That last experience was confusing, and I don't want to like. It's good. This is all progress. It's just like putting it all together right into that like touch and sight and all that stuff is hard. And thinking about it all at once. So basically, so they just made some data, okay, and then this is some CSS. So they put a hovery jam on there. Okay, cool. And then they got all right. So let's go and like see if we can just recreate this life. Let's see if we can live this life. Okay, so there's some HTML here, ain't it? And yeah, cool. All right. So then we're gonna want some of their JavaScript, and they makes it. I guess this will work. Yep. Let's see. Let's see. All right. So let's go down here and let's put some more HTML out on the page. Right. Okay. Script. Okay. And then just throw that there. And yeah, that's great. Aha! Isn't that cool? We have a visualization. I love it. Super fabulous. Uber duper fabulous. Do we even, maybe we don't even need any of the, let's see what their CSS does for us. Don't, man, that was great. I was just going to throw CSS in here. Seems like a fine place to live. Okay, great. All right. So that's a style. That's a bop. Got to play that. Okay. All right. Uh-oh. Is it dead? Uh-oh. All right. Restart. Let- All right. Where we at, y'all? Uh-oh. It doesn't look like it wants to do it anymore. All right. What happened? Okay. Let's give it a restart. So these are just won't run now. All right. And then we're gonna hard restart that and full screen this. Okay. So I'm gonna go and do that now. Play chart. It worked the first time. That was sick when it worked. Okay, great. Now we've got our chart. And it's got the style. And let's see. No play. All right. Let's see. Any errors over in here? Chart dot toggle sonify is not a function. Okay, where'd that happen at? Chart. That's the chart. Oh, there. I think this is why it's gonna get mad at us. So let's just get rid of this const stuff. I'm just gonna globally scope these things. Whatever. I don't care. Do you? Great, fabulous. Let's see if I rerun this and then I run this. Just it, it doesn't. Tried. Okay, so there's a let. What's it mad about? Oh, I know why. Because it's we already have those things defined as a constant. So now, all right, there we go. Okay, good. Now I think we should be able to like rerun these things. Let's see. So we should be able to run this. And then we should be able to run that, and then we get, yeah, all right, pop. So that means that we can do this thing here. Okay, and nice! We have a sonification. That's so sick. Who loves it? Who loves it? I love it. It's great. Magical. All right. So let's go and do this with some data. And oh my God, I'm so excited about this. I've tried like to make sonifications myself, but I don't fucking get sound. This shit's crazy. I do not have a trained ear for anything. I can only do this like weird programming stuff. Um, and you know, everything starts with the data frame. Everybody should just learn to live their life with data frames, and everything will be better. They're a first-class citizen. They're great to talk about, and they're, I don't know, they can be calming to work with too. But you know, we need some NumPy. See, I just like preload all of this stuff so that so what are we doing here? So we've got this. So we've got to divide this the index by 180, and then we got to multiply that by pi. Mul, come on, you got this. You know. There we go. All right, that's great. And then I can map this to NumPy uh, or math or some shit. Sine. Whatever. There you go. Now we got sine functions. All right. So this is then I can assign this df assign df. And we're just working off the index, which is the sine. Okay, so that's a sine. And then let's go and do the cosine. Fabulous. Okay. And then let's say style. Uh, let's name the index. Okay. And then, all right, so we're gonna have to like configure this thing eventually. So over in our the example, is this the example using the HTML sort? Okay, so I gotta go and say data colon. Where's there? Okay, so wherever data colon. So data is there a data colon series colon data? So maybe I'll just go and do data colon. What is it? Table. Thick. That makes sense. Okay. How do you write JavaScript? This is JavaScript, not Python. Sometimes it gets confusing. Usually I'm writing Python here. So this is a table, and we're going to call this waves. Cool. All right. Killer. So now that, oh, actually, okay, good. Let's put that down here just so we have this, because we always want to kind of be able to go and remake our original visualization here. So we should have, did I make two copies? CV? Now I've got two copies. Okay, great. Anyway, yeah, cool, rocking. So that means we don't need this stuff anymore. And we'll just a sonified math function. And then I don't know how to do stuff with like X and Y or anything. So line plot high charts. Okay. So they've got that there. Series step. What? I don't care about. No, I don't want that. Where is the source? Uh, okay. They do a redirect and see where you go. All right, what are you doing here? What are you doing? What are you doing? So, oh my God, there's so many settings. See, this doesn't even feel like programming. It's sort of a bummer. Oh my God, so they're just putting raw ass data in there. Okay, cool. Uh, hmm. Okay, back to this chart types, high charts, whatever, line chart. Okay, this is all you've got for a line chart. Okay, line chart API reference. Um, maybe I mean I can just do the series thing. Uh, okay, God, good God. I thought this was gonna be slightly easier. All right, let's do this. let's just do, just because I want to hack it and see what it feels like and then be like, woo! Um, okay. Anyway, at least I have something local to work with. That's always a win. So this is the data. So I am going to just take our df.sine.toList. Okay. And maybe I JSON dumps it. I think that's the hit. And then I can go and just like, so that they put it, does that mean? Is that like a destructuring? What data push? Okay, for data push. So it's putting a point, a left point and a right point, or it's null. Okay, so I have to return that situation. Okay, so then I have to be a sine. Okay, let's do reset index. Okay, and then we're gonna do index, and then sine, and then we're gonna go and do to list. Does not have a thing to list. Get out of here, fancy pants. Okay, so fine. Pipe. This is gonna pose left. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna go and map both of these things to a list, and then we're gonna just make a list. What? No. Oh, here. Let's do this. There we go. Okay, so maybe this will give us a sine wave instead. Okay, and we're just going to replace that data here. I don't understand. Okay, it didn't look like it like that. Okay, did not look like it like that either. Okay, show that, do that, and then, oh, right. Okay, so I need to template this in here. And that means we can't use this anymore. Okay, and it didn't work because all right, maybe I bail on this one right now. Okay. Anyway, it's good to have this. I can start to think about visualization a little bit. I don't know. I gotta understand highcharts a little bit more, but it was nice to just listen to some of these things with the screen reader. Like some of the sonification stuff sort of feels like a toy at times. And yeah, I know we didn't do anything new here, but it's nice to end with something that's a little bit closer to my development environment, so I can keep working on this. So it's listening to the sounds of uh, data visualizations. Yeah, I'll add some more things here and put a drawing in here, and that wasn't up terrible. Yeah, that's a good hour. Maybe next time I can fit a little bit more into here. Good, I love it. It just makes me happy to be able to have that control here. So this is math round. How do we do a sine? Aw, I thought there was one. Oh, what a bummer. I don't know what happened there. That's sad. Um, all right. I don't ever write this stuff. Okay, and it's got to be in a so you get math.py. All right, great. So uh over here where we do this math, let's ooh, that's nice. I guess I just added LSP to my Jupyter, and it's really improved my life over here. So now we've got x times math dot pi divided by 180. What does that mean? Oh, no, because that one has doesn't have a solution at 0, right? This one will, so this is fine. Cool. All right. So now, man, I feel seems like it should understand the axes a little bit better. I wonder if there's a way to just infer. Can I duck this and it makes it good? Okay. That's a little bit better. What if okay, so okay, let's see what that does now. All right, so it looks like I still got to go tell it what to do. All right, fine. So this one will go. What are they doing for X? So this one goes from, oh God, from what is, I never, ever, ever got this. 0 less than 360. What is this? This is, see, this is what idiomatic means, not that. Plus 1. I don't know. Is that right? What the fuck is that? Oh my God. Okay, so now that goes to sixes. Oh, I didn't even finish putting the numbers here. Okay, so this goes from -0, which is a real thing, to 360. Great. Now we got a sine wave, bitchin'. All right. So the real money is being able to get that from a table. So I've got some work to do in figuring out how to put that stuff together. But this is a very quick and cheap way to get a visualization out of something, and sonification. It seems like there's a lot of declaration that needs to be done, but it's not impossible. Um, yeah, the challenge is making sure that Python is transmitting as much information as it can over into the HTML and the JavaScript. But yeah, maybe we call it on this. And then, what was this? Highcharts from HTML tables. So this is what I want, right? The tables are the domain. Worry about the domain. Worry about the quality of the domain. It also fits into this concept of tidy data that is underlies a lot of work that happens in data frames where uh, there is, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. I don't, get out of here. Mm, okay. So there is tidy data is a relatively simple concept. Where is the thing? Yeah. So tidy data, every variable has a column. Every row is an observation. And they all form a table together, right? So like when we're doing data science work, a lot of things are in tabular form. APIs come back in tabular form. So the accessibility of those things and improving the data literacy for everybody is kind of the goal. It's like beyond accessibility, it's more that like everybody's at a shortcoming dealing with data. And the opposite of messy data is tidy data. So there's a real strong synergy between this stuff. There's also active effort, the data frame APIs here. I haven't put in an issue just yet. Data frame API standards. here. So this is meant to be a standard and protocol that projects abide by to interoperate with different kinds of data frames. But one of the really unifying concepts is actually the shape and the form of the table. So yeah, there's something to rediscover in tables here. Data frame APIs, and then it's nice to actually put all of this, connect all of these things together, because I've only said them to folks, but now there is video proof. Great. It was fun chatting. I'm going to stop streaming now, and do this again soon.